That's the sermon in itself, is trusting the process, because you saw something at the end that I didn't see. Ultimately, through me sharing who I am and what I want, I begin to break off pieces of myself in an environment of friction continuously, time and time again. But if I do it enough, I become sharper. Oh, your Kelvin light, you should be shooting at 5200. Is that 56? Oh, amateur. And you're like, what?
Keep going. I like it. Well, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm here with Chef Steve Beatty. And for anybody that doesn't know, Steve, I just want you to take a second, introduce yourself, and then let people know, like, who are you? What do you do?
The journey of Stephan C. Beatty is remarkable, from being a culinarian to being an Olympic competitor, to competing on the Food Network, to being an entrepreneur, to being a dad, to just all these great things, but just having a really great impact on the culinary world and its scene, and encouraging others, but also more importantly, just walking out this dream of food. So I think that's kind of just me in a nutshell, is just really enjoying food, you know, out front.
You said you just wake up, you're ready to go. But like when you were born, you were like, food.
No.
Okay. So how did all that evolve?
It's kind of interesting, Spence, because everyone kind of thinks I'm the only one that was given the kind of the mantle of culinary. Everybody in my family can cook. Like from my brothers, my mom, my dad, everybody can make smoke in the kitchen. It wasn't just me. And that was just a byproduct of this life, of just learning and knowing that I could cook. But it was never a passion that I thought would ever be a career. That came in high school when I met a woman who changed my life forever. And that was Rebecca Leibowitz, who was we had at McKinley Senior High, we had a full-fledged restaurant on the inside of our high school that we operated.
Oh, cool.
And she invited me to join the class, which is a whole nother animal in itself. And from there, she taught me and believed and showed me the path that culinary arts could be a possibility for a career.
And up until that point, what did you think you were destined for, or trying to do, or trying to be?
I wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I'm gonna tell you, I used to watch Law and Order, first of all.
Okay.
But it was something about the 3-piece suit and the briefcase, that walking around with some fly stonies. Well, that's what we call dress shoes. We call them stonies. But some fly dress shoes, 3-piece suit, and a briefcase, it did just commanded respect.
It does. Yeah. But what's even better is if it's the 3-piece suit with some Jordans.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's how you would approach law.
Yes, I definitely.
Like, I got my law in order.
Yes, and it's actually funny when you talk about Jordans. My son is actually going to a dinner with me next week, and he got his suit in, and he got some dress shoes in, and I forgot, this is actually my son's, one of his very first times ever wearing dress shoes. And his response was, he says, "When did you give me the church deacon's 11s?" When he put those dress shoes on, and he's like, "Dad, can I just please wear a pair of Jordans with this suit?"
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I know. It was like the first thing you said when you came over today was you looked down at my feet to see what I was wearing.
Spence, one thing you are a sleeper, man. And I'm going to tell you, you are a sleeper because you always have heat on your feet. I don't care. Like, no matter what the event has been, I've crossed paths and I've gone, look down. I'm like, oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. So, yeah, I've been very aware of what you're wearing.
Well, I'm trying to keep up with you.
Well, you gotta go to bed late, wake up early. That's the only way. Like that telling you, that's the only way you're gonna keep up with me. I'm just warning you right now.
Thank you. It feels like a challenge.
It is. It is little sibling rivalry right there.
Yeah. Well, I do try to go to bed at a decent time because I ain't getting any younger. I know I shaved my face today, so you can't see all my silver, but yeah, I'm not getting any younger, so I'm trying to go to bed earlier, and then get up and try to be Steve and like get ready.
Yeah,
not just like be ready.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know how to explain it, but it's one of those things that's just so natural right now. I can't even. It's just like boom. I'm like, oh, I think I need therapy because I'm always ready. Like I don't know what's going on.
That's hilarious. All right, so take me back to 3 to 5 years ago. You launched Pop Secret Seasoning.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me the little journey in there.
The journey is actually Um, all waters doesn't have to be bitter when life happens. And so there was a lot of bitter water in there, and a lot of the downfalls and a lot of the hiccups, so to speak. And one of the things that I simply learned is that, in those moments of despair, is that those stumbling blocks can become stepping stones.
Yeah.
And it's not just a catchy line, because this through all the heartache and disappointment of what has happened in my career, is that greatness was always on the other side. And so what I mean by that is that the seizing line, for instance, which has been my legacy project, was birthed out of me losing my father, right? And then from there, it was able to just speak hope, and it was able to give other people a platform that never really had a voice to express maybe their pain or how to deal with that, because something about that healing. And healing is ugly, healing is messy, but then you got the scars to prove it. Yeah. And so they look at the scars of the career and they're like, oh, wow, so tell me about that. And you can encourage others. So a lot of that career has been failure, has been a lot of just ugly, bitter stuff. But to get to where I'm at, it's just been beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I think that's how, growth has happened, right? Like if you haven't had trauma or anything to produce a scar,
Yes.
like you just kind of, I was going to say vanilla, but you're not vanilla.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though? Like, if you don't have the trauma to help elevate you and realize, like, I'm in a better place now because of all this, like, then you don't really see yourself in that place of growth.
100%. And it's actually, for me, is that someone said something that was so powerful, and I actually, I lean into it really heavy, is that on a personal level, it says, if you don't heal from those things that hurt you, you would bleed on people who never cut you. And so people often endure your wrath in life because you're not healed, and they didn't do anything to you, but you never had a chance to become a better person on the opposite side of it. So I have learned through even just being a dad, is that like the way I parent is based off of trauma. I would make statements that my parents were make to me, or, I would have rules that I really couldn't necessarily explain. There was no rhyme or reason, but it was just, that's how life is, right?
Yeah.
And so then, when you're challenged, I think that's when you have an opportunity to unpack that, which has always been, key to my life and growth, and especially in my career.
Yeah. And how old are your kids now?
Oh my gosh. So Seth literally just turned 14. Olivia just turned 12 the other day. And then you have Michaela Joy, who is 10. And then you have Judah Rose, who is about to turn 7.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You do have a handful.
I do. But here's the funny thing. I'll oftentimes when people say, oh, you got 4 kids. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Is that my kids are smart. Like, they're super smart, extremely well behaved, and they have great presence about them. And so when I'm as a dad, I'm so proud of them when it comes to whether their extracurricular activities or how they have presence in school. Is just a beautiful thing. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a pretty good gap. I mean, 10 to 14. 14 going on 40.
Yeah. Oh man. The great thing is that Seth is my only son, and God, he is a split image of me, and he pays me back for how I treated my parents. He is a carbon copy of me. Oh my gosh, he is. And being a girl dad on top of that brings out a softness in you, and it brings out a keen sense of my surroundings, of how I speak to them, because whether I like it or not, I'm going to teach them. I have to be the one that teaches them what a gentleman looks like, and what kindness looks like, and what love and everything like that. So I play a very critical role on the love that they will seek from another man.
Yeah, because I mean, your son will become you.
Exactly.
And your daughters will marry you. So I think it's a huge thing to be able to, I mean, first of all, I think it's an honor to have that, the younger generation at your fingertips, where you can help mold and shape who they become, what their mentality is like, and like, to your point, like how to be a gentleman. Yeah. And for your daughters to know, like, how to recognize a gentleman.
Yeah.
Versus everybody else.
But I think the other thing is that being a parent is very intentional. And especially being a man, I had to rethink even what society norm is, because the norm is that the man goes out and he works and he provides. But I found out that like to be present is always something that I never thought will be a trait that would be so much more valuable than finances. And that as a parent, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, is that I had to prioritize being present and being available more than anything else. And when I was married, I used to hang my hat on that because, you know, that was the trauma of I had to provide, I had to get money because we grew up without. So that was my trauma response, was I overworked. And I wasn't home, and I was so tired that I couldn't be present and I couldn't engage. And if I laid down on the floor to play with toys or Legos, I would fall asleep. But you know, as an entrepreneur, is that I always say that you definitely have to prioritize family and loved ones and friends and everything like that, because that is just as important as the success that you will encounter.
Yeah. This is my friend Chris always says, like, the importance of taking care of yourself should be above everything else, because like when you go out and work, when you come home, this is the phrase that he says, like, when dad comes home, he sets the tone. And like, to your point, like if you're coming home, want to lay on the floor to build Legos, but you can't because you fall asleep, then that's a sign of, you know, maybe I'm not taking care of myself the way I should. And there's stuff like, I don't have any kids, but I resonate with all of that, because, you know, we were talking before cameras turned on about, like, I sat here and did nothing for a whole day, didn't go outside, didn't see the sunlight, didn't get in my car, I didn't do anything, because that's what I needed. I needed to be mentally recharged.
Yeah.
You know, so that I can wake up and be ready to go.
100%.
Because if you just go all the time, then you have nothing like to give. You have no ounce of energy to serve with. You just become grumpy for no reason. You lash out for no reason. Just because you haven't given yourself priority doesn't mean other people need to suffer for that. And that's something that I've learned over the past couple of years, is like, there's a difference between taking care of yourself and laziness.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Rest is actually productive, and people don't understand that, like, you taking the time to step back, to rejuvenate, to heal, and get those good vibes back, get clarity through rest, is actually being productive. And people sometimes don't understand is that shutting it down for a little bit is actually healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you went somewhere, right, recently, to kind of shut it down, get away,
Yeah.
do a little thing.
Yeah. You know what, it's actually funny that you brought it up, is that every time I've ever used a passport, or I have this thing where I say wheels up when I travel, it's always been work related. And so one of the priorities that I've made a point in my life is experiences and detaching, and like you said, recharging. And so I went to Mexico for the first time in my life, and it's crazy as it is, but I've seen people who work normal jobs, non-salary, that are maybe just entry level, which is nothing wrong with it, but they have great experiences in life. They prioritize vacations. And I will watch them like posting stories and different stuff. I'm like, how do they afford, or they're not making this, but they save. They look for a deal. They're intentional about that break, where you find people who are hype or in the pursuit of profession, is that they don't relax, they don't rest, they don't have experiences. Or you have people who just like, that's cool and all, but guess what? I'm walking away.
Yeah.
And I've always envied people who have had that ability, but now I get it, and I'm addicted to it. Now I'm ready to catch a plane to go somewhere right now.
Oh no. All right. So I blew past something.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to ask you was, do you have a favorite pair of shoes?
So I really like threes. They're like top. I just started liking fives.
Okay.
Probably my everyday, just because they're more affordable and more accessible, are ones. You could just get ones. They're a lot easier than to get threes or anything up like above that.
Yeah.
I don't care for 2s too much, but yeah, like 1s, 3s, 4s. I've been going crazy over 4s lately too. 5s, 11s. Well, I might have a problem. Never mind.
Okay, so the real question becomes, how many pairs do you have? If you're not allowed to say that out loud, that's fine.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't keep count.
That's a great response.
It is, but if you ask my son, who we had to come to Jesus talk because he smuggled a pair of my Jordans to school to wear for a period to look really cool. He would be able to tell you how many pairs of Jordans I have. Or shoes, I should say, not just Jordans, shoes in general.
Yeah, well, hey, we're all gonna have something, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it could be way worse.
Yes.
Like, you could have another habit that would be really bad, but if you're spending extra money on shoes,
Yeah, I have another bad habit because of you, Spence.
no.
Yes.
I didn't. No.
Yeah. Yes.
I know. I'm.
Yes. Is that every time I turn around or I visit your studio, you have some really cool tech toy, and then next thing you know, I'm buying it, and the list just keeps going on. So my photography, camera, videography setup has continued to increase, and all of my little fun gadgets that are running gun have continued to increase. Even to the point now that we share clients together, Spence, because of you and the one little gadget that you introduced me to.
Well, I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. What I should say is you're welcome, I guess.
Just saying.
I don't know.
Just saying.
The only thing that we don't share currently are meta glasses because you're like, I haven't stepped into that yet.
I think you would do great with that, though.
Should I?
I think you should. I think that that POV of your world, I think is pretty remarkable. Even when I stepped on your lighting setup and how everyone sees this finished product, but they don't see the surrounding, area of it. When you would look around at all the work that you put into it, is just excellence that is just taking, just on stage right now, center stage.
Well, I mean, you walked around fully in the studio before we went live, and you were like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm talking about, is that I think it will be people, if they understood, and I think that then ties into the value that you bring, is that it's not you just grabbing a camera and you just press a button and the picture comes out. Is that I think people, if they will understand the amount of effort that you put into what you do, is that's why your price is what your price is.
Yeah.
And that's why your clientele, more importantly, is who your clientele is.
Well, and thank you. That's, it was just my philosophy of image creation is that we're not taking a picture, we're creating a image. And there's a big difference.
Ooh, talk your talk, Spence. Break that down. Talk to the people. Talk to the people, Spence.
All I'm saying is you can take a picture, you can create an image. They are not the same. That's it.
Spence, I don't think, I guess I'm fishing for you. I know you're supposed to be interviewing me per se, but
I was gonna relate that to cooking, but go ahead.
But I just have to push that back, is that success is intentional. And oftentimes it is not an accident. I think we have moments in life that might push us in a certain direction, which will ultimately give us a crown. But the day-to-day and what your outcome is, you are so intentional. If anyone, and this might be a sales pitch, take a class with Spence. If you're serious about photography, whatever it is, take a class. Your intentionality, because you've taken my picture a number of times, the lighting, positioning, it is insane. Sometimes you will sit, Spence, and I will watch you recalibrate until that moment is perfect, right? But it's intentional to create that memory. So,
and that's also, I don't like post-production. So I'd rather take my time on the front end and say, hey, let me just move this light 2 inches this way and dial it down by 5%, and then we're good. Yeah. Versus, I can fix it in post-production. And then you forget what you're doing and you spent 3 hours. I'm like, no, I want my life back.
Right.
I don't enjoy, I'm sitting in front of a computer right now for a different purpose, but I don't enjoy the sitting here like, beep, pop, beep, pop, let me edit. No, I don't want to do that. I want to create.
Yeah.
I don't want to fix later. I want to create with purpose.
Ooh.
So That's
Hashtag.
hallelujah. But yeah, that's one of those. There's no recovery from that. Sorry.
You were about to ask me a cooking question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think. Well, what I was gonna say was one of my favorite shots that we've ever done was the seasoning flying through the air.
Yes.
And that one, I feel like that was a whole lot of intentionality
Yes.
because there were strategery.
Yes. Is that a word? Is that a word?
No, strategic positioning.
Strategery.
I'd just rather say strategic because I don't know if it's right or not.
I don't either, but okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like things flying through the air. There's things being suspended. You holding stuff, dropping stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was one of my favorite things that we've done. You also had some color gel shots that I thought were pretty cool too,
Yes.
with the red background and all that. Mm-hmm. I thought those were cool too.
That moment was a great lesson for me in my space of growth, because number one is that I have someone around me that sees my life differently than I see myself in, and the vision that you had, I had to trust. I had to trust the process. Mm-hmm. Woo! That's a sermon in itself, is trusting the process, because you saw something at the end that I didn't see. And you told me, you go, Steve, do you trust me? And I says, yeah. You were like, okay, I got all these strings. Then you unloaded on me. I got all these strings and I got this, that, and the other. And I remember going through the process with you. And I remember when you finished the picture and you sent it to me, what it looked like. And you were so excited. But then I remember I saw it because I was so emotional, because I saw your vision come to fruition. And so as an entrepreneur, is that when you got people around you that are holding you up and then are riding with you, is that you got to trust the support and the energy that they bring to your brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because they know what you need, even if you can't see it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's like not your that shot specifically is not like your typical branding marketing shot, but it is eye-catching.
It is.
And it's a conversation starter.
It is.
So hopefully that's treated you well. And
it has. It's one of my favorite pictures. That, and I think we did the parody one where I was acting all surprised.
Oh, surprised. Yeah. That one actually might be my favorite. The surprise one. Yeah. Because the other one is kind of like cool. I don't want to say badass, but
yeah,
I don't know.
It's pretty serious. Pretty serious. Yeah, it's pretty serious. Yeah,
it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Next, we got to do some chef's knives with some like lasers or some smoke or something.
I'm with it. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Okay. So what I was going to say earlier was you can take a picture, you can create an image, and I feel like cooking is kind of the same.
Yes.
Like I can go in the kitchen and make, I can salt and pepper chicken breast and cook it and flip it over. Or I can be intentional and I can create a plate of food.
Yes.
Or create, and I think that comes back to like who you're cooking for and what the experience is. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was going to go with in that, was like the equation of you can take a picture or you can create something. And I feel like a lot of culinary is just the art of creating multiple ingredients that come together to make a thing. That's how I approach lighting to a picture.
People, they always, say people eat with their eyes. And so I think that's always been I think that's, for me, it's always been a reason for people to put parsley on the plate. Is people eat with their eyes. And what I say about that is that garnishing or making food look attractive sometimes becomes an afterthought. And what I try to teach culinarians is that I work from the end, and I work from my colors and shapes and whatever. So I don't have to worry about just putting parsley on the plate. And so when people look at me when I carve fruit and vegetables, right? Mm-hmm. And they sculpt, they look and they go, dude, that is insane. Well, that's when I really go into the art of culinary and self-expression. And when it comes to that moment in time where I get people to get their phone out, and I wanted to show people that, ooh, and because what has really always made me successful as a chef, Spence, is that everyone cooks chicken, everyone's cooking steak, and everyone's grilling a pork chop or smoking a brisket or whatever that might be. Mm. But not everyone can do what I do in the sense of how they present food. And so that I always tell people, you got to have a gimmick when it comes to food. You got to have something that is right in line with community, but yet still separates you, still stand alone to be an individual and step outside the community. And so the way I garnish food and present food has always served me well. And is people still go to this day, oh, I ain't got the patience for it, or whatever that looks like when they see something that I presented. But part of that has been is that I love this gift that I have, and I don't take it for granted.
Yeah. Well, and that's your differentiator, right? Like that's your, if you don't have something that separates you from, not to say your competitors, but you get lost in the sea of other things that are in your industry. And I think photography is the same way. Like, what's your special, unique ability? What's your differentiator? What's the separating factor when people look at my work versus your work versus 10 other people's work, and they pick my image out of a lineup?
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like the experience that you have is like oh, I don't have the time for that, whatever. Like, cool. Then you can continue to be lost in the sea of others. And I think that's like, there's no, again, being intentional, like there's no accident that you're a culinary Olympic competitor.
Yes.
Like that's not an accident.
None at all.
So I guess that really drives down to like ambition.
Yes.
And so the person that said that to say, oh, I don't have time for that. Cool. You probably don't have ambition.
Yes. Well, the other thing is the circle I keep. And so, they always, you heard their old phrase, if you hang around, dog, you'll catch fleas. But also, I heard recently a conversation once said is if you hang around, 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth. And so I think the circle that I've always kept in my later years of my career has definitely given me the courage to start being more of an entrepreneur versus just a 9-to-5 layman, because I saw the way they were free to dream. And I saw how fearless they were. I saw, like, every time I come over here, you're constantly reinvesting in yourself. You're constantly trying to level up. You're constantly trying to do better. I remember when you were building backdrops and all this kind of stuff, because at the end of the day, you have people around you that were just encouraging you to do more. And so as a culinarian and on this journey, is that I think that having people with different disciplines that have actually come to me and go, that's the best you got, or that's it, and they would challenge me, I think has always been great. I think even when me and you first met, you were like, I forget what kind of headshots I had. They were pretty basic. And I never forget, you was like, I could do better. and then me and you got to really forming our relationship. And then you said something else that I never forgot also. It says, and I don't know if you ever actually remember you telling me this. She said, Steve, you deserve better.
I don't remember that.
And you were talking about your ability to be creative and how you shoot outside of the box and out of the norm. And that's when you begin to think about the bottles and suspending the air. And you told me you deserve better. You don't deserve just a normal headshot. Yeah, I can do some normal headshots for you, Steve. He says, but you deserve more than that. I never forgot that. And then that's when you was like, do you trust me? And I was like, and that's when we went on a journey to go outside of the scope of a normal headshot.
Yeah.
And so I think having people around me that say, you deserve better, or you can be more, or you can do more, has always helped my career, whether it is photography, videography, or has been the seasonings. I remember when my friend Darnell Super Chef Ferguson, when he told me, he's like, dude, what's the next step for you? And I told him, I was like, man, I really want to honor my dad with these seasonings, but I need a co-packer, and I need this, that, and the other. I never forgot that me and him were at an event of his, and he picks up the phone and he calls his boy and he goes, yo, I need you to take care of my boy Steve. He has a great vision, this, that, and the other. And he puts me on the phone and signed the deal right then and then.
Wow.
But it was people around that having those conversations to think big.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I was just bottling seasonings in my kitchen, printing them at the computer. And then he says, dude, you co-packer, think big, think distribution. And I'm like,
It is kind of a scary thing when you start, because it's uncomfortable and that's not what we're used to. And, you mentioned earlier about like, oh gosh, I'm not really good at talking about myself. But, right. And because I'm the same way, I'm like, I don't like to talk about myself.
Yeah.
But guess what? Somebody's got to. And I've learned, so I believe that my passion and my purpose for being on the earth is to help people.
Yes.
And when I help people, I become really passionate about it.
Yes.
Guess what? What? Don't laugh. in order for me to reach more people, I have got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And part of that means being on camera, talking about what I'm doing, because if people don't know I exist, then I can't help them.
Yeah.
So me talking about myself is not from a place of like vanity or pride or ego. It's really just of awareness and say, hey, I'm here. I do this. If you want help, here I am.
Yes. Yes.
Period. The end. I don't know why I just went ninja hands, but sorry.
You know, something else that happened to me on this journey of entrepreneurship, what I talk about in my circle is that one of my best friends in life is Robert Thompson. He plays the saxophone. And when I was getting ready to leave my corporate job of 17 years, and I was struggling with the decision, he says, Steve, what is the defining moment for you that you're really struggling with? And I said, honestly, it's being able to take care of my family. I says, if I could not provide for them or whatever, I says, that would just devastate me because of a poor decision I made to leave a job that was, paying and insurance and everything like that. And I never forget that he goes, I'll make a deal with you, Steve. He says, this is how much I believe in you. He says, I will pay for all your kids' living expenses for 6 months. You focus on the business, building engagement, building your clientele without the fear of having to take care of your kids. Is that a deal? And I went, are you serious? He goes, that's how much I believe in you.
Wow.
Now, by the grace of God, he never had to intervene. But just the fact that I had someone around me that believed in me that much was awesome.
That's awesome. And that I want to touch on that a little bit, because it go back to like the budgeting system I use, profit first, like having an allocated, I'm gonna say pile of money, so my little coin purse of having money that didn't have a place to go. Like I said, it wasn't my tax account, it wasn't my operating account, it wasn't my savings account. This is my profit. Like that's like dollar bills in my pocket money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that, I'm glad you said it. And I'm just thinking about being able to provide for people. That's my ultimate goal too. It's not money for money's sake. It's, I want to take care of my family, take care of myself, and then bless people along the way. And one of those things that I want in my profit account is to have enough money so that I can be that guy for whoever needs it. And I have a situation right now that I have a friend of mine that has a amazing idea. And I believe that it could be a multi-million-dollar idea, but it's going to take about $50,000 of seed money to get it started.
Yeah.
And I want so badly just to tell him, take 2 weeks off from work. I'm going to write you a check.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I can't do that yet.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to work towards, is because I don't want to invest in other things that I can't see or touch. Like I know you. I'm like,
yeah,
I believe in this.
Yeah.
I want to support it.
100%.
And that's like, I guess that's why I try to dream as big as I can, because it's not like, for me, yeah, I'll benefit from it, but ultimately it's because I want to be Santa Claus, and I want to say, hey, what's your dream? What's your vision? I don't want to take, there's something about working hard, and when you've done it, you get that reward, that self of accomplishment. I don't ever want to take that away from anybody. Yeah. But if I can be the catapult in your favor to get things started, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I'm like, yeah, you got to struggle. Like, you have to feel it. Otherwise, like, you won't really get the satisfaction of,
I agree,
some of the trials that'll come along the way, you know?
Yeah.
Because if there's never any hurdle, then the reward wouldn't be as beneficial.
I agree. So, well, you know, it's, I always say you need to talk about your purpose and, you know, your reason for being on earth and everything. You know, I think that I like to sum it up is that our whole purpose on life is only one or two reasons. And it's that either you're planting a seed or you're watering a seed. And so oftentimes is that when we look at the planning process, is that it is taking the time to coach, to give infrastructure, to give encouragement and different things like of that nature. But then you get to a point of watering a seed where you're talking about was like, it's provisionary. It is able to sustain and it's assisting with the harvest, right? And it's giving all the nutrients and everything that comes along with that process to get there. And so I think you being able to carry water for someone is so critical. And I admire that about your heart. And so I think that oftentimes when we look at our purpose is that you got to realize is that is either planting a seed, watering a seed, ultimately God gives the increase. I think sometimes that we confuse is that we want to will people into the increase but that's not our place. Just plant the seed or water the seed.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes is that's when we can offend someone is what you need to be doing and what you ain't doing. And they're like, whoa, calm down there, killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's for me is that this is the great season is, being at this age now is that I'm either trying to water seeds or plant seeds. And I'm glad that you can explain it the way that you're wanting to do it.
Yeah. When I think that's, ultimately I'm a believer of Jesus, and I feel like as a child of God, my real purpose of being on the planet is to serve other people. Like that's it. And I'm not wearing it today, but if you see my photography shirt, it says, it's actually my Instagram handle name, Stanto Photo.
Yeah.
But underneath it is my mission statement. And it's just 3 words. It's serving through photography. That's it. Because that boils down to I believe I put here on the earth to help people. And the best way I know how to do that is through the camera. So that's why if you ever look at my shirt and it says serving through photography, that's what it means.
Yes. That's beautiful.
And you said something earlier that I found myself recently faced with, and it's this: the people that I've been friends with for a long time, as I continue to grow personally, I feel that there's an increasing gap because they're not challenging me to be better.
Yes.
It's just comfortable. And we're just friends because we're friends for 30 years, not because, hey, what's your next level? What's the next thing that's going to elevate your life? And so yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. They're like, no, I want you to push me. I want you to challenge me a little bit. I want you to go, have you thought about? I want you to go, is that working for you or not working for you? And so I've found a group of people that I'm friends with now that challenge me more.
Yeah.
And this is, I've only known them for a couple of years. They challenge me more than the people that I've known for close to 30 years.
Woo!
And I'm like, I just want to be in a room with y'all for 5 hours a day and hash some stuff out.
Yeah.
Because we're going to walk away with a game plan, strategy, an action plan of how to elevate. And that's what I want.
Yeah. Well, iron sharpens iron.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that if people truly understood what that means from a very scientific level, I think it brings so much light to that scripture. And so when I began obviously being a chef by trade, is that I understand that iron sharpens iron is that ultimately is using a whetstone. And so in order for iron to sharpen iron is that it's through friction. And so you put water on the whetstone, you begin to agitate the knife back and forth, and it creates pumice. That pumice is a little bit of water and a little bit of the iron or steel that comes off of the edge. Ultimately, through me sharing who I am and what I want, I begin to break off pieces of myself in an environment of friction continuously, time and time again. But if I do it enough, I become sharper. And so iron sharpening iron literally means I have to give off parts of myself and in an environment that is uncomfortable time and time again till I get to a point that I'm sharper.
Yeah.
And that's how iron sharpens iron.
Yep. I believe that. And I think kind of in the same facet, I'd like to say that, in order for the new version of me to rise, the old version needs to die. And that's if you want to take a new step, you can't continue to be the same. There won't be any change out here unless you change in here.
100%.
And I feel like that analogy of iron sharpens iron is a great example of yes, I have to get rid of. Yes, I have to let go of. Yes, I have to exfoliate the outer shell, even the inner shell, whatever, just to get a new level of polish, a new razor's edge.
Yes. And, I found if I want to be a better dad, if I want to be a better chef, if I want to be a better boyfriend, if I want to be a better friend, or whatever that is version of me, is that I want to be sharp. I really do. I don't want to be dull. And so I want to show up clean. I want to show up polished. I want to show up on point. And so I think that doing the work, and which is, me and you talk a lot about therapy. We talk about conversation. We talk about just having a vision dump offline. Me and you talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
And so I believe, that is so critical, especially for men, because, we're very closed off, and we're very, we like to give the impression we got it all together, and we don't struggle, that we're, that we do, what's the walking with the weights called? Rucking, that we could do rucking, every day of the week. And yeah, I ain't gonna say what I want to say about that one.
That's okay. It's for white folks. I get it. I know. It's fine.
But with that being said, but that's endurance, and that's tough. And, that's not easy, because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Right.
But I think but doing that work, it's hard.
Yeah.
But it's necessary.
Yeah. So I thought about this a minute ago, and I wanted to ask, what do you think is the most rewarding thing in entrepreneurship?
I used to think it was the money. And
Which is necessary
because you work for that. But I'm going to tell you is that the most rewarding thing for entrepreneurship is that knowing that you wasn't crazy. Because there's a certain amount of crazy that you got to have, in recklessness that you got to have as being an entrepreneur, that I don't care how many business plans you have, or how much advice you get, or how talented that you are. You got to have a certain amount of screws that are loose, and bolts that is missing, because logic will not align with entrepreneurship.
Right.
And you got to go, no, it's going to work. And everything around you is saying, no, not really. And you're going to max out a credit card. You're going to spend all your profit on this new whatever, because you believe that, I can make it. I could do it. I'm so close. But everything around you might say the complete opposite.
Right.
And it will say the complete opposite. And you're going to lose sleep over it, and this, that, and the other. And you're going to disappoint so many people. But at the end of the day, the most rewarding thing for entrepreneurship is to be able to say, I was not crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
It really is.
Well, and that's, I think, and along with that is, if you want to be good at something, you just have to start. And a lot of people get so hung up on that they don't know what to do, so they never start.
Yes.
And, like this whole podcast thing.
Yes.
Like this, I did not start off knowing what I was doing, but it took doing it, failing at a piece of it, like having the audio figured out, having the lighting figured out, having whatever figured. They're like, do it, fail a little bit, and then figure that out, and then do it again. Then you fail here, figure it out, do it again.
Yes.
And you just continue to climb. And I think that's just what business is. That's what entrepreneurship is.
Yes.
You do a thing, it works, but there's tweaks you need to make.
Yes.
Or you do it and it fails completely. And you're like, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do this. It's just so you just have to start.
But just starting, but also being teachable.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I tell you that a couple of things that has happened in my journey of getting to where I am is that I never forget when I was printing labels at home for my seasonings. And my good friend, Lucas Tyndall, he says to me, man, I love these seasonings. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm glad you love them. You know what I'm doing, big things. He goes, I just can't read the labels no more. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, the kitchen is, has moisture, and I went to wipe the bottle off because I got seasoning on it, and wiped off all the ingredients in the label because it didn't have the correct type of labeling set up and whatever. And so, I did some research because, that's what it does, right? You fail.
Yeah.
Right. And you fail fast. And then I found out that there's a certain type of label in the ink setup that I did to have on the bottle so they could be wiped down and they can be in an environment and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I had to fail fast, and I had to be coachable and teachable in those moments to be able to level up. I remember, Chris, you met Chris, obviously, one of the things that she always tells me is just ignore the noise. You know, because the noise will distract you so easy also. And Chris would be like, ignore the noise, Steve. Ignore it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why care?
Yeah.
Don't care. I'm like, how do you just, and so but you got to build up that armor.
Yeah.
And you can't be so thin skinned.
Yep.
And so sensitive.
Yep.
And so she's always telling me, like, you ignore the noise, Steve.
There will always be someone that wants you to fail. There will always be some critic that has nothing to do with your industry at all. There will always be somebody.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm the same. Like, you got to focus on your best and forget the rest.
Yes.
And that's really what it takes ultimately, is just like, hey, I'm doing this. You got 10 people over here going, oh, that color's off. Oh, this will wipe off, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's your opinion. Thanks.
Yes. Oh, everything is so subjective. I could only imagine from being a photographer is this like, oh, your Kelvin light, you should be shooting at 5200. Is that 56? Oh, amateur. And you're like, what? Oh, was that a single light setup? Oh, single light strobe? Oh, that was just one key light? Or you like how I'm using these terms, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Keep going. I like it.
But I could only imagine, like, sometimes your success is so subjective. And I think sometimes ignoring the noise is so critical.
Well, and that's, I'll put case in point, right? Before we turned everything on today, you asked me, like, hey, are you cool with just not having that light on behind you? And I was like, in my brain, I'm like, yeah, I hadn't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that outside person is going, oh, I guess this is what we're doing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot with, like, hey, thanks, welcome aboard. We're going to start, but I'm not done yet. So what the person sees is, like, they think this is it.
Yes.
But what they don't realize is that I've got still 6 more steps that I still need to do before it to really actually happen. And so when you said that today, I just kind of giggled in my head. I was like, yeah, I'm not done yet. But I think that happens a lot, right?
But what was the other part of that, Spence, is that I was talking about your greatness and creativity so let's be honest. So once again, like, what I was thinking is that from a creative standpoint, I was like, ooh, maybe he's going to create a shadow or something like that, because norm might be you need a light here and a light here. That's the standard. And I was just, so for me, once again, I was just so intrigued about the creative part of it versus just the execution of the standard. And so, and that's what always scares me about you, is that, like, you don't do things normal.
I would love to apologize, but I'm just not gonna do that. I have a friend that challenges me all the time. She's like, what do you mean? You don't edit? I'm like, no, I edit. It just takes me about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I only have 1 or 2 pictures to go through, not 300 or 400, because of intentionality. And I go slow, and I know what I'm looking for is already here.
Yeah.
I just need to execute it.
Yeah.
So if I can just go from here to here, it might take me 2 hours, but guess what? I'm only 4 pictures. And that's, I don't want to just rely on, AI post-production, blah, 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 blah. No, I want a 1975 Ford F-150 that don't have a dang computer chip in it. I just want to turn it on and it cranks. And if it doesn't, there's probably 3 things that I need to figure out. That's how I approach, like, photography and editing and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, why isn't this working? Oh, forgot to charge battery. There's your problem. Cool, right? So in terms of, like, editing, why can't I get the result I want to do? Oh, because I didn't go slow when I was creating the image, and I didn't add a bounce card, or I didn't add a fill light, or I didn't add this, that, whatever it is. Like, you can't go back.
Yeah.
So I just would rather go slow and get it right.
I think that's a
And
lesson.
I get it wrong sometimes. I get it wrong a lot.
Man, I think there's such a powerful lesson in that, is that just slow down.
Yeah.
I think, we're in such a rush, and we got so many things to check off, and we got so many things to do. We're busy. But I think there's something about that statement. Slow down. Just relax. Slow down. Perfect it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. I as many times I remember you were over at the house and you were filming, and is that I just never forget you were not in a rush at all to shoot. I'm like,
because you were cooking food.
but I never forget that you would cue up the scene and you would go, and I would never forget, you'd be like, all right, Steve, this is what I'm about to do. You're going to turn the steak. I'm going to punch in. I'm going to walk out. It's going to be 7 seconds. And I would go, what? He's like, yes. So is the pan hot? We're good to go. And you were just so intentional about it because you knew in post-production, right, that when I string these clips together, I don't have to comb through 15 minutes to get my shot.
Yeah.
And it was the truth. And I remember you would just go, to Steve, this is all we're going to do. And I'm like, what are we about to do? He's like, it's going to be all 7 seconds. Okay. Is the pan hot? Pan is hot. He's like, all right, we're shooting the shot, Steve.
Long time ago, I was a photographer's assistant.
Okay.
And I would say in the up and coming, I feel like I'm still up and coming, but I was getting my feet wet into a new area where I just moved, Greenville, and I was doing my own thing, figuring out my lighting style and how I like to do things. Meanwhile, I'm working for this other guy, not like a full-time employee, but he would call me, short version.
Yeah.
I was his assistant from time to time. And one of the things I never will forget is how I learned being slow from him.
Okay.
My first day assisting him, we only took like 4 pictures. And it took 7 hours to take those 4 pictures.
What?
I'll never forget. And I'm sitting here going, like, okay, what else?
Yeah.
Like, I want something to do. I'm standing here. We're not doing anything. Mm-hmm. And it was like tweak of a chair, move this angle, do that, right? Move this light, feather that light, bring in a thing, scrim a thing, add a plant, remove a plant. This pencil's crooked. Like, we're doing all this stuff and it was taking forever.
Yeah.
We were going so freaking slow. I was about to lose my mind. And then we started to take the shot. So about an hour and a half of prep time just in the space, getting the table, the linens, all of the stuff. This is an architectural shot, by the way. So it was like in somebody's office, I think, and doing all this little tweaks of stuff. And I'm over here going, you hired me for this? Okay. But he was so meticulous and went so thoughtfully through every detail of the shot that he only took 2 or 3 pictures. And at that point, all it was take an overview shot and then hide all the chords and stuff, take another shot so he could blend them out of the way.
Okay.
And then maybe 1 or 2 other lighting reference shots. And that was it. And it took us about 5 minutes for that setup.
That's crazy.
And I just thought he was so, not that he was slow, but he was being intentional about every detail that was in the frame.
Oh.
And I'll never forget that. And the thing that after like, it was like a 2-day shoot, and I thought, what if I slowed down a little bit and it was more intentional in relationship to my portrait work? Like, I've just been, at that point, I was like, set it up as fast as I can because I didn't want to bother anybody. I'm trying to get them out as fast as possible. And like, oh, I'm charging them money. That's making me uncomfortable. And like, I need to hurry up, hurry. No, guess what? I wasn't charging them enough and I was moving too quickly. So now I charge 10 times as much and I go slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. I don't know. It was a revelation for me that I never asked for, but I'm so glad that, and I'm friends with him now. He's a wonderful photographer here in town. He's an architectural photographer, Chris Decker. Thank you. He's awesome. And I'll just never forget that life lesson. And that's to your point, like, just go slow. Yeah. A lot happens if you can just remain calm. Yeah. Think through what you need to do and then execute it.
Usain Bolt, he said a great statement. He says, I trained 4 years to run 10 seconds. I was like, wow, that is insane. He says, I trained 4 years for the Olympics to run 10 seconds.
Yep.
He says, we are not the same.
Yeah. Yep.
And so when you think about it, it's like, holy crap, you're talking about slowing it down. That was just so powerful to me when I thought about that, is that he trained 4 years to run 10 seconds.
That's awesome. So how does that, what's that like for you in the chef space? Like, how do you have a better outcome? Like, what's the thing that you would tell people to slow down more? Like, what is the thing that needs more time and intentionality, like kitchen wise?
Your temperament.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So I was just with a client, HHS, and we were in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and that was a part of their Super Chef competition. And there was a moment in time where they told the competitors one of the rules or the curriculum, and you visibly saw the competitor like get shifted. You saw it, and his temperament changed. And so what I tell when I'm talking about is that when you have the ability, when you worked on your craft and you've worked on your craft, no matter what happens, how many tickets you're behind in the weeds, you're competing, whatever it is that you have enough faith because you've worked on this enough and you have a plan and you've done it enough that you know the outcome. So you don't have to freak out. Oftentimes I tell people who are these chefs who are cussing and just throwing pots of pans and they're absolutely losing it and they're losing their temper is because they don't have a plan. They don't have the inner workings to say, we're going to work through this. We're going to be on the other side of it. Nope. Hold table 3. We're working on table 4. Fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The conduct, the orchestra, that temperament.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes when entrepreneurship is when things start to fall apart, late notice, this, that, and the other, is that you got to have that temperament. It's going to be all right. Self-affirmations, having a circle you could talk to, that, and so on and so forth, that you don't get to the freak out moment. And because when you get to the freak out moment, that's when you do dumb stuff.
Yeah. It's true.
It is. I always say that's when you do dumb stuff, when you get to the freak out moment. You say stuff that you ain't got no business saying, do stuff, or you withhold or you react.
Yeah.
So that's all we say in this business is that find your center, get that temperament, that no matter what's going, I'm good. I know, I got it. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
And I've seen that. So I've you said earlier, like we share a client and we've worked together a couple of times. And I've noticed that about you is not, you don't get frazzled. The thing that I've noticed is that you just have a good time.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of people forget. It's like, oh yeah, I have a $10,000 client today.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, you could be super laser focused and like be the most professional person in the world, or you could just chill. And smile a little bit and actually enjoy being there.
Yes.
And I think that's a huge thing that people think, oh, I'm charging all this money. I got to show up, right? Not just on time or have my hair combed.
Yeah.
Or woven in your case.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? But like they forget to have fun.
Yes.
Because you're supposed to be a professional or whatever.
Yes.
And I just think like, I mean, yeah, you should be professional to a degree, but don't forget to smile, because when you smile, people usually loosen up a little bit.
Well, I think, for me, I tell leaders in general, even outside of culinary, is that there's 2 types of people, and you have to be this one type of person, is that there are people who are thermometers and people who are thermostats. And a thermometer, if you ever have taken and used the thermometer, it takes the temperature and it is what it is. And if that steak is overcooked, the steak is overcooked. There's no dialing time back and to make it medium rare or whatever. If it's overcooked, it's overcooked. But then there's people who are thermostats who control the temperature of the world, control the temperature of the room, and they make it either hot or they make it cold or they can make it comfortable. And I'd say as leaders is that you have to be the thermostat. You have to control the temperature in the room. And so that's always been my approach whenever I walk into a room, is my presence. And it's like either I want it to be hot, I want it to be cold, I want people to be comfortable. And so depending on that circumstances, that I tell people, if I'm freaking out, it's a problem. Yeah. And so I think that's just me, as that, and you've seen me in these circumstances, is that I'm cool, calm, and collected. And that's just the way I like to be. But I like to enjoy this gift. And I think if your career is causing you that much grief and stress and anxiety and blah, 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 you might want to rethink it.
Yeah. To close this out.
Yes.
I just have a few questions.
I'm listening.
These are rapid fire questions.
Boom, boom.
All right. So first thing that pops in your mind,
Yes.
I'll put 30 seconds on the clock and you just, whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay, ready? All right. Okay, here we go. What is the main dish your kids always ask for you to cook?
Macaroni cheese.
If you could only wear one pair of Jordan for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Threes.
Fruit carving or vegetable carving? Which
Fruit
is
carving.
Competing on Food Network, was it more nerve-wracking than a parent-teacher conference? Yes or no?
Yes.
What's the funniest things your kids have always said about your cooking?
You tried.
My final question is, what do you think is the most underrated ingredient in the kitchen?
That is a sleeper. I'm gonna tell you, probably one of the most underrated ingredient in the kitchen is acid.
Acid?
In general, acid.
Okay. Like,
Just vinegar, citrus, or anything like that. Anything that's an acid. And I'll tell you why. Because acid does the same thing for your mouth that salt does. And so when people are trying to do healthier or whatever, I always say, before you grab the salt, consider adding some acid or some citrus or something like that. You will be amazed how your senses react to that versus just salt.
that makes me, there's a question. I saw something, I was watching Food Network or I don't remember what, but it was like talking about the 4 elements to food. And one was, I'm gonna mess it up, but one was like texture, salt, texture, something. Do you know, is that ringing the bells?
Sweet.
Maybe it was sweet, savory, texture, and something. Is that a thing?
Salt.
Like,
Yeah, because then you get to umami. Because then that, which is the umami, when is Japanese, and that's what makes your mouth water. When you get to that point, is all those conditions all wrapped up in one. It's called umami, and so that's the point when you want to get with your food that people are salivating. That's what it made my mouth water.
yeah,
Umami.
when it has all 4 things.
Umami:
And there are 4 things are what?
salt, sweet, bitter. And there's another one. I don't know. I can't remember. But whatever. See, you just said so many different things that it's going to take me a
Sorry,
sec.
texture?
Texture, maybe.
I don't know.
I have to look.
I don't know. I was watching some, I don't know. I need to stay off the Food Network. I don't know. If anybody wants to follow you, learn more about you, contact you, invite you over for ice cream, like where do they go? What do they look at?
Stephan C. Baity on all platforms, StephanCBaity, or Pop Secret Seasoning, or just simply look up the hashtag certified flavor.
That's good. I appreciate that you wore that shirt today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here, man. This has been fun.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to come back.
I think so too.
Okay. All right. We will see you later.
Peace.